YouTube, Robert1 here, and today I have for you my top locals deck profile today, because I went X1 at locals with this. Sadly, I had the lowest tiebreakers and I ended up coming 5th, so this is technically a 5th place deck profile, but I'm going to put it as an X1 deck profile because it is X1 at locals, like it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I was able to come 5th with this at my locals. I played a lot of matches, only lost one match because I drew an unplayable hand. Literally, it was like Tenuva Shooter, Gigantes, Block Dragon, Infinite Impermanence, and something else that I just couldn't use. But it was literally just a really unplayable hand that... Oh, and it was a Red Eyes Black Dragon. It was just an unplayable hand that I really couldn't play with, and then the first hand I drew... I won the dice roll at that match as well. It was against Eldritch Synchro, and the first hand I drew was like Doki Doki with nothing else, so if it got impermed, I lost, and it got impermed, so I lost. So, yeah, that was pretty much my locals experience that day, but I went X1 with this at locals. I came 5th because tiebreakers suck. Yeah, but nonetheless, we did really well. We played against pretty much a very varied amount of decks. We played against a Blue Eyes, which was round 1. Trickstar, where I got Reincarnation Drolled, but somehow won that game. Then round 3, we had the unspeakable Eldritch Synchro match, where I just drew terrible. Then we went round 4 was against Invoked Dogmatica, and then final round was against Pendulum. But I went up against a varied amount of decks. I wanted to try and test Dragoon in the deck. That's kind of why I took this deck to locals, because I like to try all sorts of different decks at locals. I like to play something different every week, and so I thought, why not try Adamancipator and put Dragoon in it? And something I have learned from this is one, it kind of just adds more bricks to the deck. Dragoon really just does that. It's not really necessary when the deck already has all of this other stuff, but when you do get the Dragoon off with everything else, it really doesn't matter, because of you have this additional negate that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's like, yes, it's really good, but it's not really necessary. So I don't know if I'll keep playing a Dragoon build, because it does add more unnecessary bricks to the deck, but it also does a lot of other things because it's got a lot of nice things to do as well. But guys, anyway, now that I've rambled on a bit, talked to you about the deck and so on, let's actually get into the deck profile. So, obviously, starting off, we play 3 Adamancipator Researcher, 3 Adamancipator Seeker, and 3 Adamancipator Analyzer. You play 3 of each of these, no exceptions. They all have a special summon effect where Analyzer special summons itself from the hand if your opponent controls a monster on the board. Seeker special summons itself if you control an Adamancipator, and Researcher can special summons itself if you control a rock. Researcher is obviously the best because it's the least restricted one. But honestly, guys, if you play this ratio, you don't play less than 3 of each, I would honestly not suggest it. So 3 of each of the tuners. They all have the effect to Excavate 5 as well, which is why the deck works. Next, though, for free summons, we play 3 Tenyi Adhara, because it's a free summon, a tuner, and an earth monster, so it synergizes with Block Dragon, and it just gives us access to Quick Needle Fiber. 3 Madolche Pudices, because 1, it's an earth, so it synergizes with Block Dragon. 2, it's another free summon, and it's level 4 as well, so it can also get us into our Gallic Granite, which is another good reason to play this card. So pretty much what you're looking at, guys, is tons of free summons, and then obviously the Seekers. Now, for the actual rock cards that aren't Adamancipator cards, we play 3 Doki Doki. Doki Doki is pretty much one of the mandatory cards to play in this deck. You can discard a rock monster from your hand, and then you can special summon 1 rock monster from your deck with the same level and attribute as that monster. So pretty much what you do is you discard like a level 4 to summon Analyzer, or a level 2, or like if you open Doki Doki plus Doki Doki, you could just discard Doki Doki, and then summon like a Seeker or a Researcher from your deck. So it pretty much gives you free summons from the deck, and if you discard a level 4, you get to special summon out an Analyzer, just to go ahead and start you getting into your combos. This card is definitely a free of, in my opinion. When I first played the deck, I was like, no, you shouldn't really play this, but I was more playing the deck to be like turn 1 pure Adamancipator at first, but now that I've gone more into the combo list, this is a mandatory free of. I would not play less than 3. So yeah, 3 Doki Doki. Next we play 3 Quirky Mirror Guardian. This card is also another mandatory free of, just for the fact that it says negate a monster effect, so it allows you to play around your opponent's monster effects. So if your opponent has if you like activate Researcher, and then you just special summon this from the deck, then pretty much for that whole turn, your opponent can't Nibiru you, your opponent can't really Ash you. You pretty much just lock your opponent down from touching you for that entire turn until you go into like an Appaloosa or something, when then you get rid of it because, oh, you've now got 3 negates as opposed to 1. So it's just a really good card which allows you to play around negates. And honestly, if this card didn't exist, Adamancipator would be getting hit by rocks constantly, by Nibirus constantly. So yeah, but that wouldn't be the end of the world because you just summon the Researcher and continue going. But yeah, free Quirky Mirror Guardian is a mandatory in this deck as well. Next, 2 Block Dragon. Now, a lot of people choose to play 3 Block Dragon, but personally, I like to play 2. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I feel like you don't want to draw it unless it's in a very dire situation. And I know that sounds really weird to say you don't want to draw one of the best cards in your deck, but pretty much, if you open this card and you have no way to summon it, the card is just a dead card. So it's kind of like that situation. But if you do open a way to summon it, then it's not bad, but you still need that additional summon to allow you to go into other plays. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to draw it though, because obviously drawing it is really nice, it can be really good, but it's just not great to draw multiples. It's not great to see it in your opening hand of no other plays. And as one reason that happened on Sunday when I played this deck at locals, I literally opened an unplayable hand where I opened Gigantes, Block Dragon, Tengu Spirit, Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Infinite Impermanence, so I had literally no way to play the game. So I feel like playing this at 2 is fine because also there's just so many ways to search it out as well. One, we're playing Foolish Burial because Foolish Burial can lead us into other rock plays, such as sending the Block Dragon, for instance, or putting a rock in the graveyard to be able to summon Gigantes, or just something along those lines. Or hell, if we open Monster Reborn as well, then we can just Monster Reborn back like a Seeker or a Researcher because we can send it to the graveyard. But 2 Block Dragon I feel like is fine. Like, you're searching through Gallic Granite, you can search through Foolish Burial. I feel like that's just enough. Plus, you can't excavate it with any of your Researchers, Analyzers, or Seekers, so if you do excavate it, it's not going to be able to be summoned anyway. So I feel like that's kind of another reason why I don't want to play it at 3. Like, I have played it at 3 and it is good, but I just like it at 2 more because I would prefer to play an additional rock that can be summoned off a tuner as opposed to Block Dragon. But yeah, on to other monsters though. We play 1 Quirky Mirror Supplier. This card is actually really nice because when it's special summoned, you get to add a Quirky Mirror Guardian from your deck to your hand, which is just really, really nice, being able to just get that additional level 4. And if you activate something like Doki Doki later, you can special summon another monster from the deck. And also, when a rock monster is sent to the graveyard, face up from your field to the graveyard, then you can just get to special summon it from your hand, which is just like an additional free summon. So it has like kind of multiple uses there, where 1, a rock is sent to the graveyard, well, I get a free summon and then I get to search. 2, a guardian, I can search a guardian and then discard it with a Doki Doki. Like, it just gives you those additional routes to like get a free summon, get you an additional resource. There's like nothing wrong with playing this card in the deck. The reason I'm playing it at 1 is because I am playing a different rock monster as well as a one-off, because I felt like that is just a really good card in general. But 1 Quirky Mirror Supplier I feel like is really nice. I have considered putting it up to 2, but I feel like for right now 1 is enough though. And the other one is Gate Blocker. And the reason I play Gate Blocker in this deck is because it basically says no to Mystic Mine because it negates all field spells. It says no to Pendulums because if I end on the board with this and against Pendulums, they can't place any counters on any of their Pendulum monsters. And also, your opponent can't target any other monsters you control with card effects. So say you have a Researcher and an Analyzer, well, I summon the Gate Blocker. You have to imperm this instead of Researcher, Analyzer, or any of those, so it just gives you protection there as well. So it's just like a multi-utility card where, 1, it gives you protection to all your other monsters. 2, it can negate stuff like Mystic Mine. 3, it can stop your opponents from playing Pendulum very easily. It's just a really well-rounded card in Adamancipator that I feel like you shouldn't be playing the deck without at least 1 in the deck, so I felt like playing 1 of it was enough, and against my Pendulum matchup, I summoned it, and he just couldn't play the game. So, like, as I was saying, multi-utility. But, yeah, we're also playing 1 Gigantes as well, just to search off the Block Dragon to get a free summon and give access into further combo plays. But that's like the last rock. We're also playing 1 Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion for the Needle Fiber plays, and then a Dark Magician and a Red Eyes for the obvious Red Eyes fusion to send to the graveyard and then make Red Eyes Dragoon. But for other monsters, we are playing triple Sci-Frame Gamma with the one driver, just because it's a really strong hand trap, this format. I have been, like, on and off with it, though, recently, thinking, oh, it's not as good as I think, it's something that I might want to cut, but the reason it's just so nice is because, well, you can't called by the grave it, which is just really good. Not being able to be called by the grave is just insane, and if you go second, it removes the issue. So against something like Adamancipator, if they activate, like, a researcher, and then you activate this, well, their rock's no longer on the board, so they can't really overextend further than that. So it's just like, it's a nice card to have to, like, play around, stuff like that, and it's something I've been debating more and more. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to cut it? Currently I'm more on the keep side, but if maybe further down the line in testing, I might cut it, because I haven't really used it very often, but it's just, its positives are better than its negatives right now to me. But then another hand trap we are playing is free Infinite Impermanence, because it's just another hand trap that cannot be called by the Graved, which is just insane, and it's also really strong against stuff like Invoked, where you just negate the Alistair, and if they don't have the Invocation, they can't really go any further. It's good against Adamancipator, where you can just negate the Researcher or anything along those lines. Also the Needle Fiber. It's good against really any combo deck that it goes against, and it's just a really nice hand trap that deals with stuff like that. So those are all the monsters and hand traps in the deck. Like, obviously this is Adamancipator, so we are playing a very heavy monster lineup. It's all there just to be able to play the game, make sure that you can get around it and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much rock in the main monsters. But for spells we are obviously playing spells, guys. I just didn't want to have that giant pile there anymore. Is one Emergency Teleport for the Gammas, because you literally just activate this, summon the Gamma from the deck if you've still got Gammas in the deck, and that gives you an additional tuner. One Foolish Burial, because it sends the Block Dragon to the graveyard, which just goes into all sorts of other things, and can send like an additional rock to the graveyard, which would just really be nice. Or you could even send an O-line to the graveyard, really, to get an additional tuner. So it's just really nice there as well. To be able to send like Block Dragon and maybe a rock to summon Gigantes, or an Earth to summon Gigantes. One Red Eyes Fusion, obviously, for the Red Eyes Dragoon. I surprisingly drew this many times in my opening hands on Sunday, where literally every hand I drew Red Eyes Fusion. Like, I don't know why. I summoned Dragoons like once the whole day, but hey, we drew Red Eyes Fusion. We never activated it, but nonetheless. And then finally, one Monster Reborn, because Monster Reborn is just a really insane card. I remember actually activating this and just summoning, like, an Adamancipator monster, and then just being able to come back into the entire game. So this was just absolutely insane. Monster Reborn is just an insane card in general in Adamancipator, just because it's a full-on rock combo deck with, like, tons of monsters. That's the main deck, though. The main deck is very monster-heavy, as you can tell. It's very based on just being able to combo off, hoping that you always have a way to make multiple monsters, so you can go into your just busted end board with tons of negates. But yeah, going into the extra deck, we got our tokens there. We go ahead and start off with a Linkross, because this is for the Needle Fiber combo, where you go ahead and make more token, and then you get to go into the Risen Rap type, because of you make the Metal Marcher as well. We also play one Verte Anaconda for the Red Eyes Dragoon play. There's no other reason for this. One IP Masquerena, because we can use it to make Nightmare Unicorn during our opponent's turn. One Union Carrier for those really weird hands where you need to be able to put Block Dragon on one of your monsters to allow you to play the game, and also because of in our side deck we do play Buster Whelp. One Crystron Halki Fibrax, for obvious reasons. It's Crystron Halki Fibrax and just says tons of combos. One Asua the Earth Charmer, because it's just an Earth monster and a not other monster, so it's just really free. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the amount of times that I just summon this, attack into my opponent's monster, let it die, and then search an analyzer from the deck at times because I really can't do anything else, it's insane. And then I just come back and make a board that just pops off, is really insane. So this card is just really nice. One Nightmare Unicorn, because I can make it during my opponent's turn. One Appaloosa, because negates is really nice. One Access Code Talker, because I want to clear your board very easily, and also is another out to Dragoon. One Gallic Granite to search us a Block Dragon, or even a Researcher at times if we feel like we need to go that route. One Metal Marcher for stupid combos. One Herald of the Arclight for additional negates. One Adamancipator Risen Raptite, just so, for two reasons actually. One, because we can keep it on the board, and against Eldritch, we can just banish the Golden Lord during our opponent's turn because we'll have the Metal Marcher in the grave, and 2, because it just says I get to make more combos in the deck, and that's really nice, being able to make more combos. And 1 Boros Savage as well, because it's another negate. And then finally Dragoons, because the card is absolutely insane, and that's the whole reason I wanted to test this deck with Dragoons. So yeah, that's the X-1 main deck. The deck performed, I want to say good. The deck performed very well. I didn't really drop many games. I think I dropped 3 games in total. I think I only dropped 3 games the whole day. 1 to Trickstar, because game 2 he played Scapegoat, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's got me there because I couldn't really do anything else. And 2 games where I just drew 1 hand that was playable but got stopped by 1 hand trap, and then a hand which was just completely unplayable. But yeah, the deck performed very well. But for also side deck guys, there is a side deck. We did also play some things which I'll show you guys as well. First of all, we did play 3 Nibiru because I want to stop those combo decks. 2 Ash Blossom, because Ash Blossom is just really nice. It's one of the better hand traps, but I feel like having it in the side is better than having it in the main right now, and I feel like 2 is enough. So yeah, we're playing 2 in the side deck, and 1 Destruction Sword, just Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, because I don't want my opponent to summon from the extra deck, and if I side it in, they will not. 2 Lightning Storm, because I only own 2, so that's why we played 2. But literally just destroy all back row is absolutely insane. Triple Dark Ruler no more, because, well, I want to stop my opponent from playing the game somehow, and I don't own Forbidden Droplets, so we're playing Triple Dark Ruler no more. 3 Evenly Matched for like control decks and stuff, where we just drop this on them. They don't have this. If they don't have the Judgment, they kind of lose. And then finally 1 Red Reboot, just because it says screw trap decks. I'm not going to let them play the game. But yeah, that's the side deck. Like obviously side decks can be whatever anyone wants. They don't always have to be the same. Like anyone, it's really just personal preference when it comes to a side deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, so that's pretty much the deck profile though, guys. Obviously, this deck was something that I kind of thought I would try more on this week, because I felt like it was something that was really nice and had its own plays. In all honesty though, in the end of it, I kind of realized that Dragoon isn't really needed. It just kind of adds a few more bricks to the deck, which aren't really great, and because of that, it just kind of like, say you open like the Red Eyes Fusion, or you open the Dark Magician, or the Red Eyes, it's just like you've got these dead cards in your hand, which you would much prefer be cards like an Unexpected Die, or another card that will let you summon from the deck. Like, it's kind of like that. Now, I'm not going to say it's bad though, because definitely Red Eyes Dragoons can add a little extra layers on top of Adamancipator to guarantee that your opponent can't really stop you. And trust me guys, I made literally so many boards where I ended on Boros Savage, Appaloos with up to 4 negates at most, IP Masquerena, a Block Dragon, and the Red Eyes Dragoon. Like, I made these boards so often that it was just like absolutely insane. But it's just, it kind of comes down to personal preference at that point, where do you want to kind of play the more bricks, or do you want to try and play other cards? Personally, I feel like maybe I'll cut the Dragoons and try to play more Unexpected Die again. But nonetheless, I feel like the deck did perform well. I had 1 dead hand throughout the whole day that just was unplayable. But outside of that, the deck did play very well. Dragoon was a card that does have its ups and downs, but I feel like it's alright nonetheless. But yeah guys, that's the deck profile though. Tell me your thoughts of it in the comment section below. There will probably be a hand testing video of this deck in a few days. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Tell me your thoughts of Adamancipator with Dragoon. Do you feel like it's really good? Do you feel like it's really bad? Tell me your thoughts, because literally, whenever I drew Red Eyes Fusion, or whenever I drew like Red Eyes or Dark Magician, it just felt like, well, I would just much rather these be an Unexpected Die or something along those lines. But yeah, guys, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Rob that one, signing out, later all.